What's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the DPI podcast, and it is Monday night. We only go on Mondays when it's pretty important, and we got some awesome news to share about planning trips in 2024. So I've got Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. It's going to be on with us. He looks a lot better than he normally does, so we're just going to go with it tonight and see where it leads us. Have a good show. So thanks for joining us tonight. Here we go. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Matt with the Disney Planning Insights podcast. It is Monday, May the 8th, and we've got some big news from Disney today, so we decided to go ahead and go live, and we've got Peter from Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on with us tonight. So let me get over to him and we will start talking the news. Mr. Salvadori, how you doing tonight?
I mean, it's part lots of news and part I had a match today, a match tomorrow, a match Wednesday, a match Thursday. So, you know, there's lots of reasons why we're here tonight.
Well, let's just make the viewers feel special and just say, hey, we did it for you guys because we wanted to be live and we wanted to be able to talk to you. So that's what we got tonight.
I did it all for the Wookiee. Come on, the Wookiee. Come on, so you...
No, we're not going to change the lyrics to Cookie for Wookiee.
Yeah. Okay, that's like the easiest song parody in the history of parodies.
All right, let's jump into the news real quick because we got a lot of it. We've got 15 minutes. Okay, so there's a very easy place to start, and it's going to be dining plans. We've been talking about dining plans for a long time, and we're finally going to get at least a couple of them back, but not all of them. So what we're going to talk about is everything that we're talking about is going to happen starting January 9th of 2024. So, Peter, why don't you go ahead and go through what the dining plan change is going to be?
Okay, you fill in whatever details you feel like I didn't cover, and stop me if you feel like I'm going into too much detail, because your question was very open-ended and vague. So, beginning with January 2024 packages, you will be able to add dining plans back, specifically January 9th and beyond. So if you are trying to sneak in that, you know, January 4th type of trip, you're not able to add a dining plan to that. January.
Okay, you're all over the place, Peter. Peter is frozen all of a sudden. There, you're back. No,
I'm frozen and you're frozen.
You were frozen.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah, you're good.
You were frozen at the same time. We were, so
what you were saying, January 9th. So January 9th
okay.
Packages are going to go on sale on May the 31st.
Correct. So you can book 2024 vacations starting May 31st, so in just a few weeks. And then starting on January 9th, you're going to be able to add dining plans. But as Matt alluded to, they're not all back. The two that will be back are going to be the quick service plan and the Disney dining plan. The quick service plan entitles everybody in your group to 2 quick service meals and 3 snacks per day. And the Disney dining plan gives a quick service credit, a sit down credit, and 3 snacks per person per day. So what we will not have is the deluxe, which Matt is a big fan of because it gives you 3 entitlements instead of the 2. And then the other thing that we're not going to get is that hybrid one that I was so excited about, where they were going to give us 2 credits that could be quick service or sit down. So basically, we're getting the 2 bottom dining packages back, which I know, Matt, you're kind of upset about the deluxe one, but to be completely truthful, the vast majority of dining packages that I sold as a travel agent were the quick service or the regular. And I actually realized that I misspoke, because I think I said 3 snacks per person per day. It's 2 snacks per person per day on all of the plans.
Okay, so with that being said, let's get into a little bit of speculation, because now we do not have a dining plan that entitles anybody to 2 sit-down credits per day. Does that mean that they're going to take away the 2 credit meal? Is it all going to be single credit meals, do you think?
I think no.
So you still think they're gonna charge a premium, even though they're not offering a plan that you could utilize that. They're still gonna charge a premium for table services like Cinderella's Royal Table, Be Our Guest, those types of meals.
I do. Like the character meals, the really nice character meals, like you already mentioned, Cinderella's Royal Table, Le Cellier, those high-end, those high-end meals. I could see them going one of 2 ways on it. I could see them saying, hey, you've got to use your sit-down and your quick service credit, but the more likely is it'll either remain 2 credits, or it'll be like a credit plus, right? So like, maybe if you go to Cinderella's, it's whatever it is now. Let's just ballpark and say a $60 meal. Perhaps you can use a dining credit plus
a top
pay, off. $10-$20.
So that's what Disneyland Paris does right now on their character meals. You can use your credits for that day, but you have to do what's called a top off. So like the character breakfast at Plaza Gardens, I think it was $60 for the 4 of us for the top off. The Auberge de Cendrillon was like $120 for the top off for the 4 of us. And basically it changes that credit into something that can only be used at those restaurants, because you're paying that extra money on top of that. So,
I do wonder if like you'll like get the bill and you'll say, hey, I have the dining plan. They'll go, oh, okay, and like dining plan credit will come, because if I price, assuming you get the alcoholic beverage and kind of what you got before, I price a sit down dining credit at approximately $40.
Yeah,
$40 to $50. I can get $40 to $50 by if I can get my 1 alcoholic beverage and my meal, and then either an appetizer or a dessert, like I used to be able to do. I price that about $50. So if you give me an alcoholic beverage at Cinderella's Royal Table, or perhaps it's that, perhaps they say you can do it, but soft drinks only. Any alcoholic beverages will need to be purchased. So it'll be like a little caveat in the terms where it says this dining credit involves an appetizer or a dessert and a meal and 1 alcoholic beverage. And maybe at the higher end restaurants, it says your meal credit will only pay for the meal. All beverages must be purchased separately.
Yeah, and I think, it's hard for me to think about not being able to have multiple sit-downs per day when you're thinking about the dining at Walt Disney World. I've done it for so long, like you said. I'm a big fan of that deluxe plan, and I'm a big fan of that deluxe plan for a reason, because I don't necessarily use it for 3 sit-down meals a day. I use it to maximize, and not necessarily maximize, because most of the 2 credit meals are the worst uses of your dining credits, but utilizing it for some of those 2 credit meals so that I can get 2 sit-down services prepaid before I even get to the park for every day. So seeing what dining plans did come out kind of befuddled me. I thought they might go a little bit different way and maybe not do a quick service, but maybe do the original standard dining package and then the deluxe, and those be the 2 options that were available, and not necessarily a quick service plan. So I don't know what made them go this direction. Maybe just to see kind of if they could capitalize on people. Oh, the dining plan's back. Just like, oh, the parks are back open, and kind of gouge them for a little while until they start bringing back the other plans.
Could be. I'm just excited that they're back in some form or fashion because, again, my family is the standard dining plan family. We enjoy booking one sit down a day. We will then choose our other meal to be a quick service because we do have some favorite quick service restaurants in every park. And then that also pays for an alcoholic beverage with the quick service, an alcoholic beverage with the sit down. So, not having to fork out the money for that. I'm the type of person, full disclosure, I will buy, like, my wife and I a quick service meal. I'll get my kids another quick service meal to split between them. And so we'll get 3 quick service meals for the 4 of us to eat, and then I'll get 3 alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
So my wife and I each get 1.5. One that kind of goes down quick and the other one that we kind of walk away with. So I'm just ecstatic that I am no longer going to have to tell clients, hey, you're a family of 4. Make sure you plan for $400 to $500 per day, and that's a light souvenir budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just ecstatic that I can put dining back on and get back to saying, hey, so your dining's all covered. Disney's basically an all-inclusive resort. You'll want to make sure that you take about $1,000 spending money for your week. Like, that's going to be so fantastic to not settle up a $2,000 plus bill at the end of my trip to Disney.
Yeah, and that, in the end, that's what it's about. Is trying to get as much of that on the front end as possible. So let's move on. Let's move on to the other 2 big announcements. One of them pertains to annual pass holders and that kind of stuff. We'll leave that one out. But the other big one that I think people are really going to benefit from is the ability to go to the parks without needing to make a park reservation. So
kind of.
Well, they completely took it out after January 9th. It's like they came out with the AP thing and said, oh, you're going to have these bonus days. And then the other thing that they sent out was, hey, there are no park reservations after January 9th.
For date-based tickets.
Yes.
So I think there's a gray area here that we need more explanation on, because if I have a client go down for 6 days and they only get a 4-day ticket, I think they're still going to need park reservations because their ticket is not technically date-based. It is date range-based. Yeah. So I'm waiting to see more verbiage on this because right now it just says date-based tickets. So yeah. I put that as when I buy a single-day ticket, I buy it for a specific park. That will be my park reservation.
Correct.
When I buy a 3 or 4 day ticket, they give me a 6 or 7 day range to use it in. I think I will have to book my 4 days.
So it says for other admission types, including non-dated tickets, theme park reservations may be required to help us continue managing attendance and delivering a great experience for everyone. So it's a maybe.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see because I'm still buying a dated ticket, but it's ranged, so you don't know which of the 7 days I'm coming. So I could see it going both directions here. Like I said, I'm waiting to get more clarification before I start firing off fireworks saying that the reservation system is gone for everybody except for annual pass holders, because that's really what that would boil down to is everybody except annual pass holders would not have to do a park reservation, which again, if you have a 3-day ticket on a 6-day stay, that does not allow Disney to forecast park attendance, which is the entire reason why they have held the park reservation system, even though the WHO and CDC and everybody else have officially declared that the COVID is subdued. Right, yeah. It's never going to be gone, but it's subdued. So I don't know. I'm not as thrilled as you appear to be on this news. I'm waiting to find out more.
And could this be something that they also go the way of Paris of, and if you book your package through Disney, that you get tickets from the day you get there till the day you leave, and that's the only way you can order the package?
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would be terrible.
Yeah, I hope not, because I love the fact, like, we have become more and more. Well, there's a workaround with that. It's just buy a room only and then buy tickets.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Sure. And I'll be 100% honest with you. A Disney package is not an advantage, really, in any way, shape, or form.
It's not.
It really isn't. Because I had a family going down there next month who were unsure how many days they wanted to go to the park. So we just booked them a room. And then I pulled up the ticket prices. And I was like, okay, so here's the package deal. Here's what you'll save. And it was like within a dime, the same price to buy the tickets a la carte, separate of the room, versus book it all in a package.
So the last thing that they really came out with in this release today was that Genie Plus may have an advanced option to book lightning lanes coming in 2024. This was a huge cliffhanger. Hey, wait for more information on this one. So basically they didn't say anything about like a free fast pass system coming back. It sounds like they're gonna extend the Genie Plus out to where you can book them like you used to be able to book fast passes,
right? And
you still have to pay for it.
That's what it is. It's gonna be, would you like to add this to your vacation for $500? Oh, you would? Great. At 60 days out, or 30 days out, I'll be able to book your ride selections for you. That's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to come out, and it's going to be that if you're staying on property, you can add Genie Plus service to your vacation package, and they're going to keep dining reservations at 60 days out, and then at 30 days out when your package is due, then you can also book 3 reservations on your Genie Plus, and you can also purchase the individual lightning lanes. And they're gonna keep 50% of it for pre-purchase on the individual lightning lanes, and the rest of it will release at 7 a.m. to everybody else that wants them. Like, I already see it's gonna be another menu option, and it's gonna be Genie Plus plus ILL only.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be a big old crock, and it's
going to inflate the vacation cost and give us back the old service that used to be free.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And I'll tell you who's not happy about this.
The Wookiee is.
Yeah,
not
look at
happy.
how pissed he is. Look at how pissed he is.
Yeah. I can see it in his eyes.
What do you want, nerd boy?
Anything else that you got out of that release today?
No, I am curious. Here's one more curiosity. They said they almost made it seem like we might be. Do you remember the good old days when early park entry was actually an hour?
Yeah.
I am wondering about that, because they didn't make it seem like it was continuing. They made it seem like they were expanding the early and after opportunities. And boy, that would be, as it is right now, the 30 minutes early is a little bit of a sell. If I can go back to telling clients, well, if you pay this extra, $400 for your hotel, you can have plus an hour at the park. I would love to see them get back to, hey, park opens at 9, but if you're on site, it opens at 8.
Yeah. No, that would be awesome. They just have to get the buses there to pick you up to get to early magic hours.
Yeah. And the buses are going to be at about the same time they are now, because right now they're letting you in about 45 to 55 minutes early, and then letting you start, scan through the early morning, Like, they just need to push it all back outside the park, and they need to start like what they used to do. There was a special entrance side for resort guests where you could get in an hour, and they start letting you in about an hour and 10 minutes early, and then all of the non-resort guests would queue up, and about 10 minutes before park open, they'd start letting you scan in.
Yeah.
It just needs to go back to that.
Real quick, we got through our 15 minutes. A couple things from Disneyland. Fantasmic is paused until at least May 28th. Teams are working hard to assess when we can bring back an adjusted show as quickly and as safely as possible. Adjusted show means no Maleficent's Dragon because it kind of caught on fire. And beginning June 5th, Peter Pan's Flight, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and Alice in Wonderland at Disneyland Park will be closed for refurbishment. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and Alice in Wonderland will open back up on June the 15th. Peter Pan's Flight does not have a reopen date. Disneyland Paris, Avengers Power of the Night drone show will return from September 1st to November 5th. Tonight was the last show in the run that they had for the 30th, it's a pretty awesome show. We've got video of it, but it's not really good, so we're not going to post it on the YouTube page as a full show, but we may use it in some of our promos because we do have some video without the drones because it was pretty crappy weather the whole time we were there, really windy, and we only got to see the drones a couple times out, so it wasn't too fantastic when it came to that. So that's what we've got going on there. Let's go ahead and get into top three because that's kind of what we do. Business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. Hey everybody, it's Matt and Peter with the DPI podcast. It is DPI Top 3 time. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here, this is the segment of the show where we pick a poker chip out, and I am wholly unprepared for the show tonight. I match it to a line on our spreadsheet, and we have 20 seconds to pick our top 3 or bottom 3 of whatever our selected poker chip is. So tonight we are doing number 14. Number 14 is our poker chip. It is going to take me 2 seconds to find what we're actually doing tonight because, like I said, preparation would be absolutely awesome sometimes when it comes to this show.
Top 3 restaurants you're looking forward to booking with your dining plan.
Number 14 is... we're not going to do that one. Let's see number 15.
You have to. You drew the chip. The chip has been drawn.
Okay, the chip has been drawn. So we'll go with 14. Top 3 things you're going to miss from the 50th celebration.
That is not a thing.
It is a thing. So you have...
I'm not even going to miss anything.
Yeah, you have 20 seconds starting now.
What?
Planning your first trip and getting overwhelmed by all the details? Planning your next trip and just want some new suggestions on things you haven't tried? Contact me at Princess and the Mouse Travel, and I'd love to work with you planning your next trip to the most magical place on earth.
You can contact Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. All right, 20 seconds is up. Peter looks perplexed on this one this week, so...
I can't even tell you I'm going to miss anything.
There's a few things that I'm going to miss.
Okay, I thought of a couple things.
Not many things. I felt like the 50th anniversary for Disney World was so poorly done that it's hard to really miss. So
it's hard to miss.
so I'll go ahead. I'll start because I think this might have been one of my favorite things for the 50th, and it was kind of introduced out of a forced need, and it's going to be that 50th anniversary cavalcade. It was made basically because of COVID, and it was just kind of a weird, hey, we're going to do this. because we can't do a full parade and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of morphed into its own little thing. They're doing one for the 100th now as well. And apparently Peter's frozen, so I don't know what's going on with him. But yeah, it's a weird, it was a weird forced need that they had this short little parade, and it had, eight dancers with flags, and then had the Fab Five and Chip and Dale, and it was just kind of a fun little, they had the 50th anniversary song and that kind of thing. And then it just came through the park multiple times a day, and it was fun. It was a neat little parade just to kind of fill a need, but to me it was just like, it was so underdone. And I think that's going to be kind of the theme of the things that we bring out, is most of the things for the 50th were so underdone, either because of COVID or because they just didn't put the effort in that they put in for other parks. Because when I think about that cavalcade for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary, and then I think of what Paris did with Dream and Shine Brighter for the 30th anniversary, and how much bigger and grander and more spectacular that was as a full parade, and it probably had 30 characters and 20 dancers. It just blows it out of the water, and it boggles my mind that Disney World didn't do better with that, but I still thought it was a fun little thing. So my number 3 is the 50th anniversary cavalcade. So Peter, what's your number 3?
So I am going to go with the special menu offerings. So that was something nice about the 50th. There were many restaurants, quick service and sit down alike, that were doing special menu items, whether it be a special dessert, or here's one, for example, they had a lot of Walt's favorite things. So Walt apparently was a big chili guy. He was apparently a big corned beef guy. He was apparently a really big, so corned beef and hash type of guy with like breakfast. So there were Walt's favorite dishes kind of interspersed throughout the parks. Magic Kingdom obviously had quite a few locations that had these things, but many restaurants as well, like Steakhouse 71 over at Contemporary had some, like all around the Magic Kingdom area. And so some of those menu dishes were really good. Some of the menu dishes were kind of good. But what they were, though, is they were just more options. And I just always really love it. It's one of the main things I love about Epcot is the fact that I can go and get something new. And so it was kind of neat to see like 50th anniversary special food item on, like I said, I don't know the exact number, but it must have been a dozen or so restaurants or snack stands or whatever had some type of a special thing, and many of them were nods to Walt and his favorites, which was nice to obviously incorporate that so much. So I am going to miss some of the menu items because I did have several of them, and I'm also a really big fan of chili, especially when you put it on a hot dog. So
yeah, that one I had at Casey's, yeah, all good stuff. Now they have similar menu items, but not the same. They definitely dolled them up a little bit and made them a little bit more deluxe. Yeah.
So that's gonna be my number 3. I'm gonna miss some of the unique food items that came about for the 50th.
All right, getting into our number 2. If you want to be part of the top 3 show and you've got an idea for us to figure out what our top 3s are, go to the website, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning, and up in the right-hand corner, there's a little text box. You can type in your top 3 idea over in that text box, and watch the show, and we might answer your top 3. So my number 2, I'm kind of going to build off of yours because one of the things that I am really going to miss is Cali Grill's special menu. Cali Grill did a 50th anniversary experience where they had a set menu, and it was kind of favorites from the past 50 years at Cali Grill. And it was just a really, really good menu if you got good service. We both had not so great experiences with our servers there. And then, ours, we wanted to go up there and watch the fireworks, and it was just the crappiest of days when we did it. So we didn't get to see the fireworks. We were actually stuck on a monorail when the fireworks were going off, which was a good way to watch the fireworks from nowhere. Because one of the doors wouldn't close, which was awesome. But no, it had, like I said, it had nods to past favorites at Cali Grill, and you could do it a few different ways. I've actually got the menu in under here somewhere. I have all the stuff from the 50th in under there. But I had a steak. I think Shannon had, I don't know what Shannon had, and we had different desserts. So it was a prefix menu, and yeah, it was just really good. I mean, the food was wonderful. Cali Grill food is, I think, depending on who you talk to, it's either overrated or underrated. I think it's really underrated because I think it's really, really good food. But, again, I think this event came down to service, and we kind of both missed out on good service at that restaurant. So, but my number 2 is the special menu at Cali Grill. Peter, what is your number 2?
I am going to say it. As much as I there were pros and cons, highs and lows. We even talked about it. Yep. I did, and I am going to miss Enchantment. I thought it was a good show. Now, if you say, hey, Peter, do you want Happily Ever After or Enchantment? I want Happily Ever After. But at the same token, I'm always sad to see a fireworks show go but at the same time, I'm happy to see it go because I just talked about wanting the change and needing the change to keep things fresh. When you go often, that's really important. Here is the thing I missed about Enchantment was actually what they added after September. I really loved the intro where they talked about the history of the park to then turn it into the montage of Disney animation going across the 3D mapping of the castle, because Happily Ever After is very similar. It tells a story, 3D maps on the castle, but Enchantment became a celebration of Walt's dream, which, again, I am a massive Walt Disney fan, and on that topic, I have said many times, I actually read a quote from Walt Disney the other day. It was, we don't make movies to make money. We make money to make more movies. Like talking about Walt's mindset of he is just trying to bring joy and happiness to as many people's lives as possible. And I mentioned back in the Chapek era of things that he was doing everything that Walt did. Anyway, I just saw that the other day, and it sparked my mind when I brought up Walt twice about how things are currently being run. And the fact that we just talked about, I got to keep paying for Genie Plus just to get back a service that used to be free. But I loved the intro of Enchantment. There hasn't been a fireworks show like that. I just really enjoyed all of that. The live sound clips that they played, all that stuff. So I am going to miss Enchantment, but specifically the nod to the history of the park being constructed that happened at the beginning of it, because I'm a big nostalgia guy.
Well, and I think how much better do you think that show would have been received if they would have had that intro from the beginning?
Oh, way better.
And I think that was such a reaction to poor sentiment for that show, that if they would have had that at the beginning, I think we would be talking about Enchantment in a whole different light. But because they did it the way they did, I think that it left a real sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, because, you're going down there for the 50th. Some people, they only went down once for the 50th, and if you didn't go down late in that celebration, you never saw that show. So, yeah, I never saw the Walt Disney intro to Enchantment. And to me, Enchantment is like my fourth or fifth favorite fireworks show that I've seen at a Disney park, because I miss that, and it could have very well been changed if that would have been part of it. So no, it's crazy how much the view of that show changed when that intro came out. So, you know, it's a good number 2. And it's going to really tie into my number 1. And my number 1 is pretty easy, because I have talked about how cool this show is visually. And my number 1 is going to be Harmonious. I'm going to miss Harmonious, just because, you know, for as much as people hated everything in World Showcase Lagoon, I thought that show was visually stunning to see in person. We did 4K recordings of it on multiple occasions, and going back and editing that footage, it doesn't even begin to do it justice on how bright and vibrant that show was on that lagoon.
So much to look at too.
Yeah.
You didn't know where am I supposed to be looking? There's so much visually going on in that show.
Yeah, I mean, really, every segment of that show had alternate versions on each of the taco barges, and then you had the main screen in the big portal to America.
In addition to pyrotechnics, right?
Yeah,
it would have been a good light and water show.
Yeah, and it's that is, like I said, that is one of the things that I think they put a lot of effort into that show, and to see those barges just be dismantled, kind of it tore at me a little bit, because man, they could have done something with those. Put them over at Animal Kingdom, do a show on the lake over there, you know, do something with them, but don't just dismantle them and, you know, whatever they're going to do with them from there. Put them in the Walt Disney discount store in Orlando or whatever. Yeah. But no, my number 1 is definitely Harmonious. That's going to be the big thing that I miss. So Peter, before you get into your number 1, where can people find you?
Find me on Facebook. Apparently it works really, really well. I got a client the other day from Australia, and I figured it was through the podcast or some other. Nope. They typed in Disney Travel Agent in Facebook. So, yeah, if you type in Disney Travel Agent, I was very, very, I don't know, strategic's probably the right word, because I don't advertise a lot. Like, I do this podcast with Matt, not to advertise my services, but just because Matt and I both really love Disney, and if we can share some insight, see what I did there, with all of you on how to plan. Yeah, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good. So, yeah, apparently if you type in Disney Travel Agent, though, I will be one of the top hits because I have that verbatim in my title for Princess and the Mouse. And love to talk to you, especially like Matt said, right now, we are 3 short weeks away from being able to book 2024. I've got 3 or 4 clients that I had to text today to let them know, and I would love to make that 20. Okay, viewers, here's your challenge. No. Yeah, so on to my number 1. This is kind of a funky number 1, but it'll make sense when I explain it. I am going to miss the construction push. So here's what I mean. Before the 50th, Disney really went all out to get more, right? You could even argue Star Wars Land was getting ready for the 50th, but even if we don't include that, we have Ratatouille and Guardians of the Galaxy opening up at Epcot. You have Tron opening up. You have tons of other shows and other things being created, all for the sake of increasing the appeal to all the other parks to really make this a celebration worth having. And so I think of what Hollywood Studios was 10 years ago to what it is now. I think of how Epcot got 2 great appeal attractions put into it, and all of that push is now kind of dwindling. The only thing we're still waiting on is Moana Journey of Water. A bunch of the other stuff got scrapped, and so there's really nothing all that exciting on the horizon other than the speculation of the fact that the Reedy Creek documents mentioned a 5th gate, which Matt and I have been speculating about for years. But there's, we may or may not be getting Zootopia stuff over in Animal Kingdom. We have absolutely no timeline on that. There's no big construction projects happening right now, outside of little stuff here and there, adding in, a new tower at Polynesian and other stuff. But what attractions are coming? What rides are coming? And heading up to the 50th, boy, we had this is coming and this is coming and this is coming and this is coming.
Yeah, it seemed like rapid fire since about 2019. It's just been bang, 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 bang.
Right. And it was fantastic. It was just so cool to see all those things finish. And hey, we're going down a few weeks after Ratatouille opens. Can't wait to ride it. Oh, we're going down a few weeks after Guardians opens. Can't wait to ride it. Oh, we're going down 3 days after Tron opens. Can't wait to ride it. And now I'm hoping Journey of Water's open by the time you and I go down there in September, which we speculate September 1st is a makes sense day, like sort of a hard deadline. But that's about it, though. And I don't know if I'm really excited about that more than just like, oh, I'm excited to see the visual experience they put together over there in Epcot. It's not the same level of excitement as I had for Guardians.
No. Now here would be my question is, do you think on September 10th that we get the next big project? And that's going to be the parks panel at D23.
Maybe. And I hope, that, going to that parks panel at D23, which we will obviously be at, and probably do a live show right after that to discuss all of the things we saw and are excited about. That would be amazing. If they officially confirm, here is the 5th gate, here is where it's going. I would also like to see them, I don't know what happened to the plans, but they had them submitted. It seemed like they had them approved, but another monorail hotel in between Contemporary and TTC was slated, and just kind of fell by the wayside. Those would be 2 huge announcements on the Disney World campus that I would love to hear. That you have another monorail hotel going up, whatever that looks like, and then that a 5th gate is being added, which is why we don't have any construction projects, because we've got to build 6 things and 2 immersive lands and a gate and a main area.
Yeah, and I think when you think about what's going on around the world right now, it makes sense, because you're going to have the Frozen section of Paris opens next year. They haven't announced their 3rd area for their Studios Park yet, because they have their Studios Park they're putting in the Frozen section. Then they were going to put in a Star Wars land, and they kind of backtracked on that, and now it sounds like they're getting ready to make an announcement on that. Not a whole lot going on in the Chinese parks, Japanese park. They just don't have a lot of space over there to do a whole hell of a lot. So really the next big thing has got to be at World. There's speculation about
California doesn't have room.
Yeah, but they're adding Avatar somewhere.
Yeah, they have a little bit of. So they just bought, to my understanding, they bought the area, several city blocks worth of area north of land.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I understand. And then they also do have on the north, I think it's north, I don't know. When I was down there, your directions get all jumbled. It's what I'm calling north. Over by Pixar Pier, there's a lot of wasted space and some land that they own that would be big enough to put in an area. If they just rip out the, it's an aerial ride, I think, aerial show. building. But anyway, yeah. So that's my number one. I'm gonna miss the excitement of all the new opening dates. So hopefully we get some more of those soon.
Sounds good. Well, that is top 3 for tonight. Thank you guys all for joining. Like I said, if you do have a better top 3 than ours, put them down in the comments below, or shoot us your idea for a top 3 over on the website at patm.disneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. If you're checking out us on the video, it is under me right now. So, all right, guys, you have a wonderful week. We will talk to you next week. We are going to go ahead and end the show now. So we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye now. Hey, we had Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on. We talked about the great things coming in 2024 to Walt Disney World and had a top 3. Check it out. Thank you guys all for watching, listening, everything that you do. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and we will talk to you next week. Bye now.